Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talks. We're going to look at all the latest news and transfer news coming out of Manchester United. And as always, we have plenty to get our teeth stuck straight into today. And we will look at all the top stories surrounding Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, a little bit on Richard Rios, who's making a bit of a name for himself in the Club World Cup. What has Diego Leon been saying, which is quite interesting. The kid's got a lot of fire in him, which is great to see. And we'll also look at a little bit on Marcus Rashford's kind of latest financial positioning with Bayern Munich. But yeah, so they're the top stories, and we'll start with the one about Jadon Sancho. But before we do, thank you very much for joining me. I'm Keith, the host of this little channel. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the old like button, thumbs up button, call it what you want button. And if you could subscribe, and if you're new to these parts, yeah, please subscribe and get your comments in below on anything that I talk about. It'd be great to hear from you. But look, we'll jump straight in with the top story, and that is the one about Jadon Sancho. And apparently, which is coming in from Eurosport, that Jadon Sancho is now willing to reduce his wage demands to join Juventus. Do we believe this, Eurosport? I mean, I used to watch it as a kid, but I've not watched it for a long time. Are they a great, reliable source? I actually have no idea whether they're a good source or not. They've obviously got something here, but do you actually think that Jadon Sancho is someone who is going to cut his wages? I don't think so. It doesn't seem sort of right for me that Jadon Sancho will be someone who will give up to 300 plus £1,000 a week, whatever it is he's on. I know he's probably a little bit less because we're not in Europe, but is he going to give up that amount of money to come and join another team where maybe he's going to have to take maybe 150 grand a week? And sign a 3 or 4 year contract. I just don't see it. Why would he not just sit on his contract for 350 grand for another season? Contract ends, Jadon Sancho moves on a free, earns a lot of money, gets a big signing on fee, carries on earning money somewhere else, maybe back at Juventus. So I really don't see how this works from a financial situation for Manchester United or Jadon Sancho. You know, Manchester United would like to get him off the books. We gave him a huge contract, which was absolutely ridiculous. We paid far too much money for him. We didn't do our due diligence properly on the kid. And unfortunately, we're now left in a situation where we've got several players on massive wages that we can't move on. And it's absolutely crippling to the club and crippling to the squad, because if we can't get these players out, we can't get players in to replace them. And, you know, what's Jadon Sancho going to do? As I said yesterday, his ambition clearly is about money as opposed to playing football. But I don't know whether you or I in his position would drop maybe, 150k a week. I don't know, being in that situation, whether I would have it in me to do that just to play for the game I love. I don't actually know how we're going to move forward. So as I said, Eurosport are coming out with the story, but I actually don't know how or if there's anything in this. I'd love there to be, but what do you good people think there? Do you think Jadon Sancho is going to drop his wages and leave and go to Juventus just to play football? Or do you think Jadon Sancho is someone who's going to sit out, wait his contract out, earn whatever, 300 plus whatever it is, grand a week, and just take the best of his time while still at Manchester United, even if it does mean just sitting on the bench? Please get your thoughts in below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so that's the first story. The second story is, I'm going to look a little bit about the Richard Rios story, and that's Manchester United are eyeing Richard Rios and are considering a move for him. United scouts have been sent to watch him in action in the Club World Cup. Palmeiras reportedly looking to let him go for around £20 million. Now, I don't know whether he would go for £20 million. He's a 6'1" midfielder. He's a good ball carrying midfielder. I've actually not seen him play. I've only seen little snippets of him here and there, so I'm definitely not going to tell you that he's the next big thing. But he is the sort of player I could imagine Forest or Newcastle or maybe Brighton, some of those teams will come in, maybe pay the 20 million, bring him into the Premier League, and before you know it, 18 months down the line, he's worth 60-70 million. Manchester United are scrambling at the door trying to pay him, trying to bring him into their midfield. He's a ball carrying midfielder. We haven't actually had one since Scott McTominay. No, unfortunately, Scott McTominay wasn't quite good enough to play for Manchester United at the level that we wanted to get to. Maybe he was the player who could have actually played at the level where we are at now. But yeah, he's moved on to bigger and better things. Richard Rios is someone that he is a very interesting player. United looked at him previously in the past. As I said, in 25, he got plenty of experience under his belt. Apparently he's doing quite well at the Club World Cup. Palmeiras, I think, play Chelsea on the early hours of Saturday morning. So that would be an interesting game to have a look at. I don't think I'm actually going to get up for that one. But if it was up, I would definitely take a closer look at him. He has obviously got, he's got kind of that South American blood in him. He's got that fight. He's got that drive and determination. He's got a lot going for him. So I think he could fit well into Manchester United's midfield. But do I think we're going to get him? I don't know. Do I think it's a smart move? Yes, definitely to be explored. Are we going to explore it? God only knows. Have we got the money to do it? Probably not. We're just a disaster at the minute. The disaster keeps on rolling like a snowball, turning into an avalanche. But unfortunately, an avalanche of just pure shite at the minute. And it's so frustrating to watch other teams like Chelsea, who are 7 players, I think. Liverpool are on 4. City have done a lot of business in January and they're still trying to do business now. We're just so far behind. We've got 1 player coming in the start of July, and that's it. I mean, worst season ever. 1 player in, massive transformation, absolutely not happening. But Richard Rios is a player I think we should be looking at. So that's the story with Richard Rios. Now, this is where we are with the Bayern Munich and Marcus Rashford story, according to Rob Dawson at the ESPN. So Bayern Munich have asked about the financial conditions of a deal for Marcus Rashford, but Marcus Rashford hasn't shown any willingness to reduce his wage packet at the moment. So it seems like Marcus Rashford isn't willing to reduce his wages for Bayern Munich, but maybe he is willing to reduce them for Barcelona because that's his dream move after Manchester United. But I think if Rashford was clever, I think a move to Bayern Munich, as I spoke about yesterday, would be very interesting for him. I still think he might not get his full wages, but I do believe they'd be able to pay a really good wage for him. So he still would do well, even in a very good team, even a dominant team, all the things I mentioned yesterday. I think it could be a fascinating move for Marcus Rashford. But what I hope is that, we know that Bayern Munich are looking for a left-sided forward. They were looking at the winger from Liverpool. Can't think of his name's gone out of my head. They've also looked at Nico Williams. I'm getting this all mixed up. Nico Williams to Barcelona may not be happening now. I think that's what Rashford is kind of holding out for. But I think if Rashford was to kind of step back, look at the bigger picture, Bayern Munich, as I said yesterday, could be a very interesting move for him. So but is he willing to reduce his wages? It seems not. Is this going to be something that drags on to the end of August? Probably. So yeah, getting the money in from him and being able to kind of utilize that money again before the transfer window ends. If it happens, I don't know. Maybe he'll go on loan again. Maybe he'll go on loan to Barcelona. Maybe he'll go on loan to Bayern Munich with an obligation to buy. I don't know. But the Rashford thing's dragging on and it's very frustrating. But this was the latest sort of piece from David Ornstein, exclusive about Bryan Mbuemo. He's decided he wants to join Manchester United. And now is Manchester United expected to open talks again with Brentford. So just kind of the news that's coming out about Bryan Mbuemo is that Manchester United want him. He wants Manchester United. And can they get a deal done? It's around the 60 million mark. Brentford want a bit more. Can Manchester United find the extra couple of million to get it across the line? Or do they want to just keep haggling over the last couple of pound just to make themselves look like they haven't had to pay the full price? I think it's the latter, but I also don't know whether that's going to be beneficial to Manchester United or the club moving forward. Because if we don't get him in before the pre-season, then we're absolutely in trouble. So that's where we are with that. And then the final story is that Manchester United have been offered, apparently, one of Douglas Luiz, Dusan Vlahovic, and Tim Weah in a swap deal for Jadon Sancho. Now, there's no way that we're going to get all 3 players. I don't think we'll get 1 player. As I've said before, swap deals are not a massive thing in football. A few have happened. Obviously, we had the swap deal of Mkhitaryan and Alexis Sanchez, which was absolutely a shocker. It did not work for us. Alexis Sanchez, after 4 days, realised he'd made a massive mistake and didn't want to be at Manchester United. And I just can't see this working. I can't see a swap deal. It'd be interesting if we could make it work. I just think it's more paper talk. I know it's coming from Fabrizio Romano, and Fabrizio obviously has a big kind of knowledge on this kind of thing. And I hope to be proven wrong. I just don't see Jadon Sancho swapping for any of those players. And the wages, are, as I said at the very start, are always going to be problematic for Manchester United and Juventus. he wants to keep his wage at Manchester United, and Juventus don't want to pay it. So I think we're kind of left at a bit of a stalemate when it comes to Jadon Sancho. Unfortunately, that seems to be the same with all our players. Despite the fact that people have seen Scott McTominay go on and do well and Alanga go on and do well, there is the opportunity for these players to go on and have very good careers at other clubs and be successful in their own right. But I just think that Jadon Sancho is not one of these players that's going to happen to, unfortunately. And he's going to stick around a bit longer. Okay, guys, that's your 10-minute roundup. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the old like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit the old thumbs up if you would. It'd be magic. Get your comments in below with anything I've talked about. Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford. Do you think Richard Rios would be a good signing for us? Have you seen him in the Club World Cup? Get your comments in below. Yeah, and anything else I've talked about. If not, no worries. We shall see you tomorrow and we'll do it all again. Over and out.